This is 6 Minutes, the seriously international daily newscast. It's Thursday, April 17th. I'm Anne-Sophie Goninet.
And I'm Emma Albright. The sun is setting over Port Hedland, Australia, while it's just coming up over Caracas, Venezuela. In Bilbao, Spain, and here in the World Crunch newsroom in Paris, it's just after midday. These are the latest headlines. China says it will pay no attention to Trump's tariff numbers game. Iran confirms new round of nuclear talks with the US in Rome, and our daily quiz questions comes from the final frontier. US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are meeting today with European counterparts in Paris to discuss efforts to end the war in Ukraine. Ukraine's foreign minister and defense minister have arrived in the French capital to take part in the discussions. Meanwhile, a large-scale Russian drone attack in the southeastern Ukrainian city of Dnipro has killed 3 people and injured at least 30. China says it will pay no attention to U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff numbers game. This comes after the White House suggested Chinese exports are facing tariffs of up to 245%. Meanwhile, China-founded e-commerce sites Temu and Shein say they plan to raise prices for U.S. customers starting next week. Global markets Thursday continued to drop following a pessimistic outlook by U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Iran has confirmed a new round of nuclear talks with the U.S. in Rome this weekend, mediated by Oman. The announcement came as Iran's president formally approved the resignation of one of his vice presidents, who served as Tehran's key negotiator in its 2015 nuclear deal with world powers. Meanwhile, the New York Times is reporting that U.S. President Trump blocked a planned Israeli strike on Iranian nuclear sites in favor of negotiating a deal with Iran to limit its nuclear program. The Czech Republic has said it is fully independent of Russian oil for the first time. This follows the completion of capacity upgrades on a pipeline coming from the west, with the first increased supplies having reached the central oil depot in the country. Since the war in Ukraine started in 2022, many European countries have moved away from supplying themselves with Russian oil. In the U.S., the White House press secretary has doubled down on accusations that Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to a notorious El Salvador prison in March, is a gang member, and said that he will never live in the U.S. again. This comes amid an escalating showdown between the Trump administration and the judiciary on immigration, as a judge in another case said the administration could be held in contempt of court over the deportations. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen traveled to El Salvador on Wednesday to meet with Garcia, but failed to secure a meeting. U.S. President Donald Trump is welcoming a friendly face from Europe today. Italy's right-wing Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who is the focus of today's More Than a Minute feature.
The practical results of Thursday's White House visit may be the easy part for the Italian leader. Trump will have to grant Meloni some positive takeaways, seeing as the international isolation of the US at this moment is so deep that it's important to show that the administration has some friends left out there in the world.
But beyond the handshakes and friendly words, writes Flavia Perina in Italian daily La Stampa, the harder question for Meloni is how to continue in the role of a bridge between the two sides of the Atlantic. Anne-Sophie, tell us more about Meloni's position.
With each passing day, Trump is making it harder for Meloni to try to maintain positive relations. Perina writes, Meloni and her government have long benefited from an original, or anomalous if you prefer, position with respect to the emergent scheme of international alliances, partly with Europe and partly with those who want to demolish it, friends of Europe's establishment center-right, but also of the MAGA nationalists through Meloni's old allies.
What has changed now?
It is hard to imagine Meloni siding with Trump, either on his stance on the war in Ukraine or his tariff policy, which hurts the Italian and European economies. On the other side, there is the ideological attraction of the US president for Meloni. Perina writes that Trump is the singular beast that has overwhelmed the left everywhere, bulldozing their universities, their intellectuals, their woke do-goodism, and tolerance for immigration. All are people and positions that the Italian Prime Minister has been dedicated to dismantling her entire political life. In the end, the choice that Meloni must make boils down to: motivations of the head versus motivations of the heart. We shall see.
We're closing things out today with our daily quiz question, which comes from the final frontier, space. Scientists from the UK found signs of what long-awaited discovery in a solar system 120 light-years away? Was it A, alien life, B, a flat disk-shaped planet, C, a solar system with 3 stars, or D, the Death Star? The correct answer is A. Scientists from Cambridge University in the UK say they found new evidence of life on the planet called K2-18b, 120 light-years away. The researchers say that the atmosphere of the planet shows high quantities of a molecule that, on Earth, is produced by plankton and bacteria. They stressed that the evidence isn't conclusive, but also said this is the strongest evidence yet of life outside of Earth and her orbit.
That's the latest from around the world. If you like this podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you could help us out with a follow, share, and a 5-star rating on your preferred podcasting platform. For more of the best of the international press, delivered exclusively in English, visit us at worldcrunch.com. We'll see you here tomorrow. À demain.